Hallo zusammen! Arguably, the band Rammstein is very popular and very successful internationally, but their identity is still based around the German language and culture. And I'm sure many of you guys know quite a lot about the band already, but there are some things you might not know all too well about Rammstein and what they are actually about. So let's find out more about them and what is pretty special about their lyrics, songs and whatever. Let's talk about 5 facts about Rammstein today. Fact number 1. Rammstein was named after a big accident in Germany. Yes. In the state of Rhineland-Palatinate, Rheinland-Pfalz, which actually is one of 16 German states, the United States Air Force has an air base. This air base is both located in and called Rammstein with just one M. In 1988, around 6 years prior to the formation of the band Rammstein in 1994, an accident happened there during a Flugschau, an air show. In specific, 3 stunt pilots collided with their planes in mid-air. In the course of this accident, over 70 people died and more than 1,000 people were injured. Guitarist Paul Landers, drummer Christoph Schneider and keyboarder Flake Lorenz actually said that they came up with the name Rammstein out of Quatsch. Yeah. And according to a statement by Paul Landers, they couldn't really manage to get rid of it later on. Landers also states that the reason why they spelled themselves Rammstein with 2 M instead of 1 M is that they simply didn't know the town Rammstein is spelled with just 1 M. So yeah, there you go. Now that I think about it, and that's just my assumption of course, maybe they've subconsciously associated the name with the common German verb rammen, to ram or to drive against something, and assumed the town would be spelled with 2 M as well, which would also cynically fit the aforementioned situation. In fact, at first they actually called themselves Rammstein Flugschau, Rammstein Air Show, before shortening the name to Rammstein. The part Stein translates to stone, by the way. So in a way, a literal equivalent to the band name could be Ramstone. Fact number 2. A very prominent trademark element in Till Lindemann's vocals is actually fake. And please don't get me wrong here, I don't mean that in a negative way, I just want and need to point out that Till's dialect doesn't feature such a strong, prominent and rolled R sound you can hear in most Rammstein songs. It's fake in this particular context, and when you think about it, in fact a few songs by the 6 guys don't even feature that rolled R. A good example would be the ballad Ohne dich, Without You. Of course it includes words that contain a German R, the R, but Till doesn't roll it here, he actually verbalizes it in a completely ordinary and unseeming manner. The chorus goes If Till sang this the way he sings most other Rammstein songs, it would rather sound like Mit dir bin ich auch allein. So there is not dir, but dir. This rolled and prominent R is used by many native Bavarians, for instance, people from Bayern in southern Germany. It's also pretty much the basic R sound you get to hear in regions such as Switzerland, Austria and South Tyrol. But why does Till like to use this seemingly Teutonic sound though? It obviously puts a high emphasis on what's being sung, it basically is sort of an independent rhythmical figure on its own, which adds another layer to the melody and, more importantly, it also works as a trademark sound for the band, because pretty much all other internationally known bands from Germany that also sing in German have a comparatively standard way of verbalizing things. And again, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. In addition to all these plausible reasons, Till's way of singing and pronouncing words when he sings is sort of related to Bühnendeutsch, stage German so to speak, which is a specific way of verbalizing words and sentences in some theater plays and the like. Many people, and to be quite frank with you, especially the ones that don't look any further than the next corner, seem to think that this pronunciation is meant as a glorification of the Third Reich and the way Adolf Hitler spoke. And while it certainly works as a form of provocation, which in turn leads to attention. At the end of the day, many things are marketing related, let's be honest here. The guys in Rammstein couldn't be farther away from any right-wing political ideologies. In fact, they even made a song about this misconception. Links 2, 3, 4, left 2, 3, 4. Fact number 3. While many Rammstein songs actually remain pretty vague and, well, mysterious in a way, some others are more explicit and way more direct in terms of their inspiration. And when I actually think of the latter category, meaning songs that are directly inspired by an incident that happened at some point in time, I immediately think of Mein Teil. And that sounds just slightly ambiguous and sexually connotated. Mein Teil, my thing. This song is about Armin Meiwes, also known as Der Kannibale von Rothenburg, and yes, it's the guy who killed his lover, slaughtered him and partially ate him as well, in order to make his lover a part of himself. The song obviously remains more or less vague if you don't know the lyrical background, and pretty much all the lyrics by Till Lindemann have at least 2 layers and a certain ambiguity to them. But Mein Teil is directly inspired by this event that took place in 2001. Fact number 4. There is a distinct separation in the creative process behind most Rammstein songs. The guys in Rammstein actually follow a pretty strict work ethic, if I may say so. Even though Till is a pretty prominent element in the sound of Rammstein, he doesn't participate in the instrumental composing process. According to bassist Oliver Riedl, there are only a few exceptions to this rule. In other words, the instrumental section comes first and Till gets inspired by the instrumental section by the music itself, and he writes lyrics based upon, like, riffs and the general sound of the instruments. Paul Landers, one of the 2 guitarists in the band, has stated the following about this approach. Till kommt mit einem Text. Dieser basiert meistens auf dem Riff, das tragend für das Lied ist. Hartes Riff, harter Text. Weiches Riff, weicher Text. And fact number 5, a pretty interesting one if I may say so. Rammstein's musical style has to do with self-proclaimed limitations mentioned by the band members. Flake, the keyboard player, thinks, den Stil haben wir gefunden, indem wir alle genau wussten, was wir nicht wollten. Und wir wollten genau nicht amerikanische Funky-Musik machen oder Punk eben oder irgend sowas, was wir gar nicht können. Wir haben gemerkt, dass wir nur diese Musik können, die wir auch spielen. Und die ist halt mal sehr einfach, stumpf, monoton. So, while I do get what Flake actually conveys with his statement, I still think that it's actually the mixture of the rather simplistic or simple music and more clever and complex lyrics that make, well, or that create actually a huge part of the fascination that is Rammstein, I'd personally say. Honestly, and I don't know about that, maybe you guys can tell me more about that yourself, probably not being native Germans or Germans in general. Maybe my point of view is a very German one, because for obvious reasons, most of us Germans do understand the lyrics right away, at least like the most obvious basic layer of them, and so we might have a different view on those. And of course we also know very well how fellow Germans actually react and perceive certain things in life and what they think about certain things, and how they might in turn respond to some Rammstein lyrics. The long-term Swedish Rammstein producer Jakob Hellner actually pointed out something else, which I think is equally clever in terms of appealing to an international audience that, in doubt, might not even understand German at all. In the making of the album Reise Reise, which actually is my favorite Rammstein record, he says something along the lines of, the lyrics, meaning the plain words and syllables in all the songs, should sound phonetically interesting and captivating anyway, pretty much, so that the singing also works for people that don't speak or understand German. So depending on your nationality and your knowledge in terms of languages, diving deeper into the lyrics might be a nice addition, pretty much the icing on the cake. On the German cake, of course, haha. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this rather, well, arguably lengthy fact video, but I wanted to mention as many helpful and interesting things as possible in terms of Rammstein. Feel free to tell me in the comments what was new to you, what you didn't know before. And if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and to share this video with other people. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, I'm your Vlog Dave, tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.